Hey everybody, just thought I'd try something different. Been talking to Yuka about it, and I thought maybe a little nice short video with some guitar playing and a little conversation and maybe some stupid humor, which you're guaranteed to get even in my sleep. Just to say hey. But the reason for tonight is I've had the really great fortune of having a few key people. Obviously anyone who knows me knows I love playing guitar. That's how I met my wife. As I played it for all my sons when they were first born. Played it with my father when I was saying goodbye to him. It's, other than my wife and my family and my brothers and my ma, it's the most important thing in my life. So, that being said, there's always work, but right. Anyways, the important part of tonight is through some Zoom calls with my class from 78, 80, 81 from Sao Paulo. It's a small school, so everyone's kind of like in one class depending on what year they graduate. It really was not important. But the school was unique down in Sao Paulo. Everyone had their own story, and everyone was learning to become themselves while dealing with where they came from, and where they are, and where they're going. For me, I had left the farm in Buffalo, moved to Sao Paulo, literally overnight, from all this room to big city, and I found myself, after about a year or so, with a classical guitar in my hand, trying to learn to play some guitar with a friend of mine. In the process, I started to really like it. I had played violin in school and elementary school and stuff, but I really liked it. Trying to get some more sound out of an old acoustic nylon string. And then a couple people came along just through the normal process of school. And it had a huge influence on my playing, and I'd say my life as well, because my playing is my life and it's what got me here. That being said, these three people, Steve Saylor, who was my environmental science teacher in, 10th grade maybe, and that's my cat helping us, and Jay Knight, who was PE, killer bluegrass player. Keeping up with him was always a chore, big part of my right hand technique. And Noel Dixon, English teacher, great guy, big mustache, always wanted a mustache like that, and my mustache always looked like a caterpillar had died on my lip. Even when I got older, I said, what the hell? So we got rid of that. It was fun. Anyways, each one of those guys had a huge influence on my playing in different ways. And with these Zoom calls, going back to school, with these Zoom calls, two of them have been on our calls. Jay Knight, which was phenomenal to talk to him, and Noel Dixon, which is, just unbelievable. I'm trying to get Steve on the calls, but I had the opportunity through Keil to talk with Steve and meet up with him and play. And it was unbelievable. It was like traveling across the universe. The way we left Brazil, there was no connection, there was no Facebook, there was no, you couldn't even afford to call someone, really. So getting a hold of Mr. Saylor after leaving abruptly after graduation, which a lot of us did, was like, I don't even know how to, it was a dream. It was a dream. And he had his guitars that I'd seen. I built my whole idea of guitar playing based on his guitars, his instruments. He had a Gill 12-string that I literally, it's like Thor's hammer. If you know an old Gill 12-string, you know what I mean. And the way he played it was so solid, and the way he sounded was so solid. So, from what I learned from those three, I'll start with Mr. Dixon. He always sang and played. And he showed me the reverence of playing a guitar. I'm a guitar player. Everyone who knows me, I want to go. But sometimes the singer would like you to lay back a little bit and not have a herd of buffalo behind them, because you can, right? Gio knows all about that. And Mr. Dixon taught me the reverence of the lyrics and the storytelling. So when I just play something like this, I visualize him singing and the guitar playing was secondary. Even though I was a guitar player and I was watching him and Knight and Saylor, like someone trying to learn how to fly an airplane while it's crashing. Your focus is 100%. So the reference of guitar behind the lyrics and behind the person telling the story, I always think of him when I'm trying to do something, add some serenity behind the story. Keep it gentle. Might say hands are sore. So he taught me to be cool while someone's singing, because that's what it's really all about. You need music, whether you're playing an instrument or you're singing or whatever you're doing, beating on a stick in the yard on a can, you're telling a story, you're getting a message across, you're connecting with someone's heartbeat and their mind and their thoughts and their wishes and their dreams and their fears and all of that. So taught me how to be a polite guitar player. And that's a big thing. Mr. Knight, on the other hand, tremendous influence. He playing with Mr. Knight was like, I'm trying to come up with a good analogy, and I'm usually not at a loss for one, but he had so much energy, so he taught me tremendous amount of energy. In fact, later on, after school, I ended up in New Orleans with Rick Hudler, and we were going to play the streets and make money. We made like $4. We ended up getting a job at a pizza shop. He was making the pizzas, and I was delivering the pizzas with an MG that my brother and I built. That I did some of the electronics on it, which was bad. So I had to jiggle the wires under the dashboard to get the car started. And the car was always hot underneath there. If you know an MG, British wiring, you know that car was going to be a Roman candle any moment. But that's aside. Rick and I just surrounded ourselves with music in New Orleans. And we met this guy named Boo Gorsuch, who was the Virginia State fiddle champion and banjo player. He was also a pastry chef. We were broke, wanted to play. He played all the time, and we just crashed at his place. And we would literally play 15 hours a day, fall asleep on his floor with our guitar in our hand, wake up, drink some more of his beer, and just play. And his bluegrass playing was great. And playing with Mr. Knight, and there's a picture of us playing, me and Mr. Knight and his son, and Mike Kerr on bass at some graded picnic, 4th of July picnic maybe, and he's playing mandolin, singing. I think we were playing Rocky Top. And he was going a mile a minute. He was just a locomotive on that mandolin, and he was excited, and he played with some immense power. And I was playing, because of Mr. Dixon, he was an ovation player. Studied that thing a lot. Liked ovations, but I like the wood guitars. But I was on home leave. We were on home leave once. We went to my brother found a early prototype ovation 12-string. When I say prototype, if you know an ovation, they're a round back guitar, resin, wood top, nice neck. This was, first off, I'm sure, this thing looked like a harp because it had this big arc between the neck and the bridge. And to play it, you had to be like a weightlifter and an acrobat. And if you hit the strings the wrong way, because this guitar was so warped, unfortunately, the poor thing, it was a smooth back. To give you an idea, if anyone knows ovations, smooth back early on, it was, before they really perfected the process. That being said, that guitar, if you hit the strings the wrong way, literally would bounce your hand over your head, you smack the back of your head, and then you get back to playing. So, it was unbelievable. But playing with Mr. Knight, and I decided, well, I just came back from home leave, and I want to play my new guitar, damn it. So I bring it out. Mr. Knight's going to town on that mandolin, sounded like $1 million. And I'm trying to come up with him. And it was all I could do. But he prepped me for the rest of my aggressive, hard-playing dynamic, full of energy, playing. And between Mr. Knight and this guy Bo Gorsuch, we met, and I've never been able to find him since, but this guy in New Orleans, I had to develop this right hand, which is now key to my playing, just to keep up with these guys. Otherwise, it's like I need to sit down, you have a drink, wipe my head, and just like, what the hell, right? So here's a little example. And this, again, to this day, I'm 58 years old, and I'm talking about when I'm 16 or 17 playing with these guys. This affected my right hand, and it's one of the things that helps me be a little different when I play. See, I gotta get that roll, because that roll it's cheating, is what it is doing. Because I couldn't keep up with him. I couldn't, and you get one of these guys, these mandolin players, these banjo players, you give them a cup of coffee and that instrument, and you need to really, you're running. You'll lose 3 pounds. So from that, I got this ability to keep up. That's a little frantic there because I haven't been playing my acoustic much with the shutdown. I should be, but... So, hats off to Mr. Knight and Noel Dixon. I mean, respect, reverence, and energy, dynamic, push and drive. Take your excitement through your instrument or your voice in the song and literally hand it to the crowd. Anyone listening. If there's 10 people listening, at least one person is going to smile and say, whoa, maybe it changed their thinking for just a second. Maybe their mind was on something serious and just, and right? So, anyways. So, to Steve Saylor. I used to lie, cheat, and steal at school, whatever I possibly could, to get time to go up to his classroom. And it must have been hilarious. I can just see myself, and I've seen it in 100 movies, the hope in my eyes. Did he bring his Gill 12 string? Does he have time to play? And if we do have, I brought my guitar, which by that time, by the way, between all 3 of these guys, I needed more sound from my instrument. And I was playing a Del Vecchio, nylon string, classical guitar. Classical. And I'd say, we're playing bluegrass now. So I went home on home leave and brought back, I wanted as much sound as I can get, so I bought some Martin medium strings. I put lights on this guitar because I don't want to hurt it, okay? And this is a Martin. So I bought these mediums, and I put it on this poor classical guitar, and you could just hear the instrument go, oh shit. All right. And it just did it. I got it in the closet. I haven't played it. The Martin mediums are off. It's back to classical strings, thank God. But it was my first guitar, and it carried me through. So I would go into a Saylor's office, his office, working now, Saylor's classroom, at any time during the day, 3 times a day, especially if I knew he had his 12 string there. And I would say, could we play? And every now and then he'd let me play his 12 string, and he would try to play my Giannini, or it wasn't Giannini, my DiGiorgio, and Grin and Barrett, and he would sing a song like Blue, You Ain't Going Nowhere, just any of those classic Bird songs. He turned me on to Leo Kottke, the Byrds, old Doc Watson tunes. It was going to church. Saylor's classroom was church for me. It changed everything. So those times he'd let me play that 12 string, oh my God. I'd just pick it up. So what Saylor taught me was, and I use it every day, all 3 of these guys, I think of them all the time when I'm playing. Steve Saylor taught me my first hammer-ons. So in this phrase, There's the energy. Here's the gentle support the song at all costs. And here comes Steve. Taught me are in every single thing I play. On my electric, my acoustic, everything. And then the other thing, and I would say, and I tell this to people when they want to pick up guitar for the first time, no matter what age they are. Just how drop D you hit. Because anyone who plays acoustic loves drop D. He would teach me a chord. I think he taught me how to play an A chord, right? By the way, I'm using a capo because my arm is sore because I play too much and it's good. Anyways, so I play a whole ton of different versions of A, like everyone. They taught my first A chord and a D, and I would go home and I would play that one chord of the week, and I think the song Blue. Like I haven't played that song in a while, but he'd teach me a chord and I would be like, oh shit, that is magic. So I would just play that chord every way I possibly could, just play that chord. I have to have half my lifetime spent on a D chord. All my bands will tell you. So that's just a D and a G with a few fingers off, because I used to play so much on that guitar, and all those guitars, the beginning guitars that had such high action and high, I was like, I wanted the sound. I wanted more sound without an amplifier. I wanted that sound to be, get into my bones, right? And my fingers would be like train tracks inside. You know, I could pick up a pencil just by going like this because there was a permanent groove in my finger, right? You know what it's like. So I would learn to, Jesus, my middle finger's dying, so let's just not use that for me. Oh, I'm feeling better. Now it hurts again. And then with a G, less fingers the better, because I would burn them out. So the lesson there, the takeaway from there is if you're learning to play, use the same sort of energy you would put. If you're telling a story, a family story, maybe a story when you were growing up when you were a kid, when you're opening your Christmas present, that energy you've got, put that in your song, put that in your chord. You know, put some anticipation, whatever. You're telling a story, even if you're just playing your guitar. If it's just by you, you're alone. Tell yourself the story. Respect the not the form, but the whole communication that is music. Put your energy in, let everyone know how you feel about it, and then just enjoy it. Find that chord that resonates with you. Find the way your hands feel, how they like. And that's what I got from those three guys. And I think of them all the time. It's a crazy blessing in my life that we get on these Zoom calls and then suddenly there's Mr. Knight, and then there's Mr. Dixon, and I've got a video of me playing with Mr. Saylor, playing You Ain't Going Nowhere at his house in San Diego about 8 years ago, and I swear to God that was like, you know, God saying, well, you worked hard. Here's a little something for you. So, anyways, a little bit of all of that. that's just a little note, maybe a long note. But thanks to those three guys, Steve, Jay, Noel. You might not have known it, but that changed my life. And it was fantastic, and it still is, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. Everybody be safe. I hope you liked it. Didn't mean to talk too much, but you know me, all right? Have a great night, everybody.